Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. So, Jay, we got a big fight coming up on April 20th between Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, which is definitely an interesting fight, and I'm glad that we have that fight ahead of us. One thing that I did want to talk about, and it's in regards to Devin Haney. Now, I know on this particular channel, we've gotten Devin Haney hate for whatever reason. I don't know why, because we've spoken positively about Devin Haney as well as his father, but I want to talk about the moves that they're currently making here and how there's a big risk and reward as it relates to Ryan Garcia. And when you think about Ryan Garcia and the fact that he's been in the ring with Gervonta Davis, it's interesting now that Devin Haney is also going to get into the ring with him, right? Because we have the opportunity to compare and contrast the performances. And I believe that that can be both an opportunity for Devin Haney as well as a risk, right? So if Devin comes into the ring and he is exciting, he executes his game plan, it doesn't matter if he knocks out Ryan Garcia or not, that will weigh favorably for him in terms of the potential of a Gervonta Davis fight, right? Because at the end of the day, you know, his fans, his support, they're going to say that look at how he performed versus Ryan Garcia relative to Gervonta Davis. So it's an opportunity there. Also, though, if he performs at a level that is under expectations or it's far under the performance of Gervonta Davis, then, of course, there's risk associated with it. And I think that hurts him in terms of his overall ability to negotiate that fight. It's my personal opinion. Also, when you think about it from a pay-per-view perspective, right, there's been a lot of people who are Gervonta Davis detractors that said that those pay-per-view buys were driven by Ryan Garcia. Well, if that is true, then I would expect these numbers from Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney to be quite substantial. Now, I'm not saying it needs to be 1.2 million buys. I'm not saying that whatsoever. I think it needs to be in the I would say, let's call it maybe 400 plus. I think if he does 400 plus, since, I mean, it was reported that he did 130,000 buys with Regis Program. And now you have what they're saying is a much bigger star in Ryan Garcia in the ring. And Ryan Garcia was a contributor to the 1.2 million buys. Then I think 350, 400,000 buys, I think that would be really good for Devin Haney. And I think he would be able to leverage that in negotiations with Gervonta Davis. Now, if he does anything higher than that, 500, 600, whatever, then he can really leverage that. But also, if that fight doesn't do well, we're talking about, you know, and I'm not saying that this isn't well, but 150, 200,000 buys. Now you're in a situation where, well, that's what you said you did with Regis Prograis, which, you know, people are questioning that. But that's in the realm of what you did with Regis Prograis. Ryan Garcia was supposed to be a much bigger star, and you only did 250. So there's a risk and a reward with taking this fight. I think Bill Haney is thinking about this strategically in the sense that if they go in there and do the numbers that they want to do, and they can put on a performance, not necessarily to the level of Regis Prograis, because I don't know if that's going to happen again, because I don't think the styles match up as favorably versus Ryan Garcia. But if he's able to go in there and put on a significant performance, I think they come out of that situation a big time winner, specifically in the negotiations with Gervonta Davis. Not to say that they're going to be the A side or any of those types of things, but they have positioned themselves to say, hey, we are one of the faces of boxing. We generate revenue. It's time to make this fight. And here are our demands. And I think their demands will be much better received, not only from Team Gervonta Davis, but I think also from the general public. And not only that, if they're not well received from Team Gervonta Davis, then they can make the argument then that, you know, Tank is being unreasonable. Jay, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on how he looks. You know, to your point, if it doesn't do good as far as sales and whatnot, it's going to definitely elevate Tank, because that's going to let him know that, hey, my fight versus Ryan, I was majority driver of that. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's going to give Tank all the put power in the world, that more than what he already has. To your point, also, if Devin looks good, it definitely gives him more bargaining power. He can try to, you know, push his weight around a little bit as far as the negotiation table, especially as far as money-wise, because he's like, look, I'm bringing this to the table. You sold X amount with Ryan, I sold X amount, and I look good in it. So it's gonna make good more make for the fans to want to see a competitive matchup. So it's all contingent. I mean, and to the opposite side, like you said, if he doesn't look well, he ain't gonna have no negotiation power. He's gonna have to take whatever Tank gives him if he wants to run that route with Tank. So he has to look good in this fight. This is definitely another measure against Tank. You know, he already fought Gamboa. We know Gamboa was super old when Devin fought him. You know, Devin handled his business, didn't get him up out of there, but he gave him a boxing lesson. Against Ryan, I don't think he necessarily get Ryan up out of there because that's not necessarily Devin style, but he has to look good. He has to look unscathed like he did against Regis. He has a performance like Regis is definitely going to help him out in this fight against Tank. I'm happy for the fight, period. You know, I definitely give Devin all the props in the world because he's faced better competition than anyone around his weight class. You know, from Loma to Regis. No one wanted to really fight Regis. You know, we know Regis was slow of foot, but he could still crack. You know, that's what we wonder about Devin. Everyone calls Devin Chinny from the Linares fight. I don't call him Chinny just because I was just one shot towards the end of the round. He managed to get through the rest of the last 2 rounds of the fight and handle business. I haven't seen him really rock like that since then. You know, that's what I was concerned with against Regis. But against Ryan, he's going to come with it because Ryan does have a nice little left hook. But he shows well. It's going to be a great showing for him against Tank.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it'll do very well for him. Like I mentioned before, I just feel like Team Haney is being very strategic in terms of their overall movements and how they're trying to position Devin. I'm going to be honest with you, and some people are going to take this as a diss, but I don't think it is. I think they're pulling from the book or a page from the book of Muhammad Ali, Floyd Mayweather, where you're basically taking aspects of professional wrestling and you are incorporating it into your personality, into the way that you actually promote yourself. You know, when I look at Bill Haney, man, he might as well be Bobby Heenan or Jimmy Cornette or any other famous
Teddy Long.
Yeah, Teddy Long. Any other famous professional wrestling manager. That's what he seems like. When you look at like that video that they did, if you put your Barracuda hands, you gonna deal with Big Tank. It's like it's straight WWE.
Oh,
so it's not a diss. I find it to be entertaining. I think that's what Bill Haney is aiming for. I think that whole interaction and exchange was WWE like, and they're trying to garner some attention in regards to that. And you know, I think it's less Devin's personality and more Bill's. Bill's more of a showman. Bill's more of a hustler. Yeah. Bill's more of a, I would say, an extrovert, if I had to guess. So those are my thoughts on that. But Jay, anything else you want to share about this risk versus reward situation currently with Devin Haney?
He's definitely taking another risk, you know, because he's gonna be measured up by how Tank did.
Absolutely, he can win big in this fight in terms of money and performance, or he can lose bad and position himself or be forced into a position where he needs to acquiesce to Gervonta Davis. He's going to have to acquiesce to Gervonta Davis regardless, but acquiesce more than he would like to capitulate, if you will. You guys tell us what you think in the comment section in regards to the risk associated with this particular fight for Devin Haney. Do you see it as risk? Do you see it as a big opportunity? Let us know in the comment section. Don't forget to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Angry Man Podcast, M Sports Media, and we are out.